Morning all. I figured we would start back in Nether so I can show you how I got out of the predicament I had at the end of the last episode. First things you can notice is I've finally fixed up and gas-proofed the Nether portal. So the wall I had behind there was for ghasts, but obviously I had the roof open and stuff, and that was actually the second time that ghasts have taken my portal out. So yeah, finally just fixed that. So yeah, if you don't remember, last time we left, I just died down at the bottom of the Nether, and coming back to grab my stuff, a ghast blew out the Nether portal, and I was stranded here with a chest full of cobblestone and nothing else. So what I did was, obviously first priority was to try and get my stuff back, which was fairly easy. It was kind of best case scenario at this point. Certainly didn't want to do it on camera in case it was worst case scenario. So I came down here and I came to the second to last elevator. You can see there's the last one down there, and you can probably already notice what I've done. So I came down, and the strategy was to build a cobblestone bridge above where all the enemies were that I was fighting when I died. So I managed to come down. If we move over a little bit, you'll see I've got this big column. So what this was I got to this point and I couldn't get any further. So I ended up dropping down onto this piece of wall, which was just quite fortunate that I had dropped that there. That was my previous beacon to say this is where the opening was before I had the elevator. So I put a block of wall there so that it was pretty obvious where to go. Because when I was mining around, it's kind of hard to find where a giant hole is to fly up. So I managed to drop down onto the piece of wall, build a pillar of cobble, quickly dropped down here, was chased by one of the fire silverfish that they have here in the Nether in this mod pack, and ran around and quickly jumped up on here and got back up. Lost half my health doing that, but luckily no hiccups. Managed to get back up to that elevator and then drop back down, and now that I had a column I could put blocks around it, and then when I lowered down enough I was able to build this bridge. So built the bridge all the way out here, built a platform around my grave, making sure that when I broke the grave that all items that popped out would stay up here so that I could pick them up in safety. And yeah, got my items back, dumped out all the cobblestone I had left, and yeah, grabbed my stuff and ran. So yeah, not too bad. I didn't lose anything. At least I don't think I lost anything doing that chance cube. So here you can see the explosion. So this must have been the smaller nuke, but you can see the radius of the explosion there. For some reason it didn't do that single column, but you can see how much it's exploded all around here, all over there. This was all flat at about this level. So yeah, that's certainly couldn't get out of that explosion. I'm not even sure if having a next spirit or any of those other save you if you die things would have worked here. I do believe I did have a piece of armor on that from the loot bag or from the artifacts mod that is I've changed my stuff now, but I do have one on. Yeah, restores health after taking lethal damage. I don't know if I actually have one of those pieces on, or whether one of those pieces would actually save me from that explosion. Alright, so that's that. Rather not dwell on it. Oh my god. Those are the second and third pigmen I've had here. When I spawned in, there was a pigman standing there waiting. Um, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if covering it means they'll spawn more or something. I might have to look into that. Oh my god. What is it with the pigs today? Oh, and he just went through the... Right. Okay, on to talking about some of the other things I did. Other than dying, embarrassingly, and yeah, losing my near the portal. Right, so I believe I've showed this all cleaned up and stuff. Now we're actually pushing all the items through. I'm quite happy with the current system that I've built. So we have a look through here. So this is the chest. Every now and then you'll see an item pop in, but the system's working nice enough that there is no backlog, which is obviously intended. So what happens is the output of these sieves and these compactors and things can all feed into this chest, but what gets out is controlled by this purple channel. So this, if you can see, has a insert and extract on green. So this whole network is green. So these compactors all grab what they can. The hammerers grab what they can. I believe not everything that gets put into the furnace is the sand, which is the last version of these things. Or I believe dust is the last version. So we've got gravel goes into sand, goes into dust. So sometimes stuff gets out that could have been processed more. So it's not 100% efficient on the stuff, but this is fine. All I need to do now is to make a whole bunch of upgrades for the sieves and the hammerers to keep them flying through, and then I believe the compactors just work instantly anyway, so I don't need to do anything there. It's mainly getting these hammerers and stuff going through. I believe they're the main slowdown. So as you can see here, we've got purple going into this chest. Now that's not the only purple. I believe I've got four different purple filters going into this chest, and then one green going out. Now that green is not hooked up to this green. That green goes through down here, down the path over into the storage system. The other thing we've got here is a smelter that has an octadic capacitor. Probably doesn't need an octadic capacitor. These things are very, very expensive. So what this does is it speeds up the smelting. yeah, I might put a double capacitor in there, which is not as fast, but is a lot cheaper, and I can use the octadic capacitor somewhere else. Certainly, this system just works in the background. It doesn't need to. The furnace only needs to go as fast as the system is feeding it things. I'm not actually waiting on any of this stuff. So I've set this to furnace only mode. The other modes are alloys and furnace and alloys. So the alloys is when you put 2 or 3 different materials in here and it turns it into one type of ingot. So for example, aluminium brass is nickel and zinc or something like that. Or yeah, something like that. And so if you put a ingot of each of those in there, it turns it into one ingot of aluminium brass. This also does a bunch of ender-IO stuff like pulsating iron, vibranium, solarium, and things like that. Are all things like solarium, I believe, is soul sand and gold. But yeah, so we've got that set. So that's set to purple. So and this has a much higher priority than this. But this also has item filters, so it only takes things that can't be smelted. So occasionally this, because this is just straight pulling from this chest, sometimes it'll request the item before any of the other hammerers do. So it might smelt sands and gravels instead of just dust. But I'm fine with that. It's the system works. And it's a system that I came up with 100% by myself. I don't know if anyone else does it this way. But yeah, I like having the different coloured networks and and stuff. There's a whole bunch of item filters on that chest. I think it was a bit awkward, but yeah, it works. So now we've got a whole bunch more stuff coming into the storage drawers. Things like blocks of diamond, blocks of lapis. So, because we're running these things through compactors, most of these things like the diamond, lapis, and stuff like that are getting compacted into block versions. So I do have the situation where I've got storage drawers that, so I've got one for blocks of diamond and one for diamonds, which is right there. And what we could be doing is putting in some compacting drawers, and then the compacting drawers can take the diamonds and the blocks of diamonds in, and then you can either pull either version out. Same with glowstone and things like that. And that, reduces the amount of drawers that you're taking out for things. As you can see, I'm not using all the drawers at the moment. There are some available. So it's not too much of an issue, but it's certainly probably something I'll be looking at. As we get further into the game, there's more and more things that you'll be getting. For the main part, this will just be mob system and ore processing, and we might have other systems for other areas, like when we start Galacticraft and we start building rocket ships, and might have a special storage area for all that processing to filter into, and then they all just come out on the same inventory panel, or inventory panel network, I guess, which was set up later. I've had a look into crafting the inventory panel, and yeah, it's I don't think it's something that's too far away, but it is there is a lot of steps towards getting it. So I don't want to do it entirely off camera, because it's probably going to be half one of these quest pages. So what I have done is Delta is now 21% complete. I've done a few more of these. The interesting thing now is that we can create a jetpack, or at least we have the quest to create a jetpack. The thing is that these take a lot of capacitors. So, and so do a lot of other things that I will be crafting in the near future. So what I want to do is I want to set up a way to get capacitors, because at the moment they're very, very expensive. Take hundreds and hundreds of redstone to do, and without automatic harvesting of the redstone plants, we're just nowhere near getting that much redstone. I think I'm all tapped out almost. I probably could only make another 2 or 3 capacitors before completely running out, and I've got 8, and so it takes 8 of these to make one octadic capacitor, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. So it takes a lot of resources. So there's 2 things I want to get through today. One is sorting out a way to get capacitors. We'll go through that when we get to it. And the other one is, I believe, Sin Gamma, is bedrockium. Now, bedrockium is a crazy thing to get, and it takes a very long time, so it's good to start it now. So you smelt an octuple compressed cobblestone, which takes 43 million cobblestone to make. Now, the octuple compressed cobblestone is made from 9 septuple compressed cobblestone, which is made from 9 sextuple compressed cobblestone. It's made from 9 quintuple down to quadruple, triple, double compressed cobblestone, all the way down to cobblestone. So 43 million cobblestone is needed to make this. So we need to generate a lot of cobble. So what I've done is I've set up an area to generate a lot of cobble. It's the same system that we have over there. You have one side has lava, one side has water, and then you have a piece of cobble in between with a transfer node that has a wheeled interaction upgrade onto it, and that generates cobble. I'm going to set up 7 of these, all tightly packed together, and then they're all going to feed into a drawer, or several drawers that all compact it up, so that we can hopefully generate a lot of cobble. And this certainly isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take a long little while for all these things to come through. One other thing we're going to do while we're here is, because the sieving system set up, we now have yellorium, and enough yellorium to replace all the lava. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is replace the lava here, because then we can use that lava straight over there for that system. So let's start at the back here. Now let's grab all of it first. I think I retrieved all the glass from there. I was expecting to retrieve none, so I had the rest of the glass covers in my inventory because I thought I'd have to replace them. But, yeah. I don't need to replace them for the yellorium, as far as I know. It doesn't hurt me to stand on it, but it's I just want to go with consistency, because I do have it over the water. Water doesn't hurt me either, but it's really annoying to stand in, so it's nice to be able to walk over the whole thing. Right. I've got lots of buckets, so the mob system does give me buckets. So I've got like a couple hundred buckets, which is good, because Each of these required 4 buckets, I believe. Something I did required a whole bunch of buckets. So that was nice. These also require iron pickaxes, which is another thing I get from the mob system, and it's one of the things that's in one of those void upgrade chests. But as I said, they do store some of them, so I was able to grab some pickaxes out, even though we're only storing a couple of them. I only needed 7, and we're storing a maximum of 8, so that was nice, rather than having to craft them up myself and use my precious resources to do it, and precious time. Right, let's see if we can get this. Yeah. Yeah. Right, let's set up the bottom. What do we need? So 2 water. If we start with lava on the end, 3 water, 4 water. So just go over to my infinite water source. Actually, no, we'll leave that. That water there is so that those for those plants. I'll leave that for now. 1, 2, 3. Not enough inventory space. Have you got any? No, cool. Oh, I do have a bunch of crap from those pigmen. Damn it. Okay. Four. Yeah, I should sort out the cows soon. I might, I believe I'm getting close to the machine that lets me automatically milk them. So I might, I don't know where I need to put them so that that passive farm continues to spawn things. Because the other thing I want is a chicken farm, so I've always got some cooked chicken. Because at the moment I'm eating apples and they're not very satiating. And just for consistency, we'll here. Now, let's put these compressing drawers down first. Compacting drawers. I keep saying compressing drawers, and that's going to bug me. Oh. I'll just switch those around. Do I have my wrench? Or a wrench? Right. Let's just quickly see if I've got a wrench over here. Yeah, I still have a bunch of chests around with random stuff, but it's getting better, I swear. Cleaning things up. Most things have a home now. Most things that I've got at the moment, anyway. No wrenches. Nothing in there either. Okay. Must be one down here. I also haven't cleaned up those drawers, but it took long enough to clean up the rest of the system that, yeah, couldn't be bothered. So, didn't be bothered. I will certainly get to it Trying to decide exactly how to handle that island. I do want to return it to its former glory, at least a similar to its former glory. But I need to have it in a way that we're not just going to have slimes ruling, spawning and going everywhere over the island. Make sure we gate it in a bit, but I still want to see them all. Right, now hopefully all this lava lights up the system enough. Well, actually I know that all this lava will light up the area enough. Oops. Can I rinse that off? No. Now each of these needs one of these, and once I start getting more gold and redstone from farming the plants, automatically then I can come and put some speed upgrades in these. So like I said, 43 million per block. Now, we have a look. These ones on the bottom have started getting cobble. And because they're compressing one, they go from cobble to compressed cobble to double compressed cobble. And I forgot to craft a controller for these drawers. Right, how many? Got two, which means that these are going to be the inside. Right. Yeah. I think this will look quite cool with all the glass and stuff as well. I think it's nice putting it next to the other thing that has a bunch of glass and water and lava, or rather it'll be water and yellorium. Not that I was starving for power, but you know, it's always good to keep on top of that sort of stuff. Ah, I need another torch here. That. The sneak to fly thing doesn't work if you're not standing on a full solid block. Like I won't be able to do it from here. But as soon as I stand on the cobble, I can. So it can be really annoying when I get down to the bottom here on those slabs. I can't actually fly out. I could when I had jump boost, but my latest gear doesn't give me jump boost. And it's taken me a little while to, let's see, is this, yeah, power's almost out because I've taken away all the stuff. We're running on one yellorium block. So as soon as I chuck this in here, yeah, power's going up. Which means that I'm producing way more power than I need to, which is a good thing. Yeah, let's put, just to look nice. Not that it looks the nicest it could look, I'm certainly not that good at the game, but I think it has a certain style to it. It's like, you know, engineering generator type thing. Same with this. So the next thing for this is to put a storage drawer controller on here and then pipe that into a couple more compacting drawers, because that's only getting me to double compressed, and then we need to have a drawer that goes triple, quadruple, quintuple, and then another one that does sextuple, septuple, octuple. And then as soon as we start getting octuple, we can put it in the furnace and turn it into bedrockium. So you can see I've got 4 double compressed cobblestones, 6 there, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4. So that will slowly creep up. Yeah, it's going to take a while, so it's nice to get it set now. I think this looks quite nice actually, rather tidy from this side. And then you've got all the pipes on this side. Yeah. So we need that running in the background so that when we actually care about bedrockium, that we actually have it. One of the things, well, actually the only thing that I know of that you use bedrockium for is creating a bedrockium drum, and this drum can hold 65,000 buckets of liquid. So basically you put one of those buckets down to store something and you will definitely get as much of that liquid as you'll ever need, especially if you're using it. I mean, if you manage to fill one of those up, you're certainly producing a lot. Plus it's for the quest and stuff. So if we, I go U, yeah. So block of bedrockium, bedrockium drum, bedrockium chisel. Okay, it makes unbreakable stuff. Healing axe. That uses, yeah, unstable ingots, which is a crazy thing. You get these by going through doing the division sigil and stuff, which is a quest that we have. Okay, transfer node, hyper energy. Tell me, portal to the deep dark. Okay, so you use it to make a portal to an extra dimension. So this does okay, so it does, when you use it to make tools, it's really high durability, but it's really crappy. So I don't know, there might be some uses for it. I guess if you make one piece of your tool with bedrockium, like the handle or something, and then you can get the really high durability, and then you use other really awesome materials for the rest of it, and heaps of modifiers to give it speed and all that sort of stuff. Let's go drop off this yellow rim. So I probably should make some lava gen or something. The other thing I can do is generate obsidian and stuff in the crucible as well. You put a block of yellorium down in the ground, and you put the crucible, I think it's actually in here. Yeah, so you put the crucible, which I did have set up in my base on there. You feed it cobblestone and it turns it into lava, and then the other one is you feed water on top and it turns it into obsidian, and then you can pull it out. I believe that's how it goes. There's a bunch of stuff you can do through barrels and things as well. Like, you can actually automate this stuff. So as soon as I automate the trees, harvesting the trees and the saplings, you can actually feed saplings into the top and suck dirt out the bottom. The other thing is you can make clay and stuff like that. So yeah, we're heading this way. Okay, so we've got that working. I'll finish it off camera, but you can see the general idea of it is to have a whole lot of cobble gen going so that you can compress it all down and do it in a reasonable amount of time. I believe if you just set up one, even with full speed upgrades, it's still going to take days of time. So we need capacitors. Now if we look at the normal way to create capacitors, so these Ender.io capacitors are created, we do it in the QED, they block these off with things in the assembly table, which makes them cheaper, but you need the assembly table set up and stuff, which we don't have. We probably should do. So we need one of these capacitors, redstone capacitor with two red alloy ingots, and that creates one basic capacitor. Now these red alloy ingots are an iron ingot surrounded in redstone, and you put it in the furnace. So this needs 4 of them, so that's 6 red alloy ingots per basic capacitor, and each of those needs 8 redstone. So it's 48 redstone. That's 3/4 of a stack of redstone just per capacitor. It's crazy. So if we look at the recipe for this, the first one that shows up is capacitor seeds, and the soil that they get planted on is a capacitor bank, which is a power storage block, and it needs to be farmed with bedrock underneath it. So that's pretty insane. But then we get basic capacitors, double layer capacitors, octadic capacitors, organic capacitor core, organic capacitor gel, and organic capacitor shells. Now, I don't believe these top 3 are used for much, but certainly getting these octadic capacitors and basic capacitors and stuff would be nice. So how do we make the seeds? Well, we need an octadic capacitor, because this game just loves to make things hard. I mean, essentially that's that's kappa mode for you, is to make things crazy. But here's one I've prepared earlier. So I have an Enderman head, which I got from the mob farm. So every now and then I'll go past, especially when I'm working around that area, I can hear the Enderman in the bottom. When they drop, they almost die. I've actually set it up that way. I know that they need 45 block drop to kill themselves. I've made this a 40 block drop. And what that means is they drop with just enough that I can kill them. So I kill them and get their heads. So there's 2 different versions of the heads. This is the one we need for this. This is the Ender.io version of the Enderman head. And then we need soul sand, and then bone meal, octadic capacitor, and then the seeds on the top. And that gives us capacitor seeds. I believe I can get some more once they start growing, hopefully. I think they work the same as any of these agricraft seeds, where you sit down with sticks and they spread. Hopefully, because these are crazy expensive for actually just doing it that way. Now the other thing we need, because this needs bedrock below it, and we have 1 piece of bedrock in the whole map, which is right around here, below there, way down. So yeah, we can't grow these here in our base. We need to grow them somewhere else where there is bedrock. I believe bedrockium can't actually be placed as bedrock. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But yeah, I'm not waiting. I'm not going to sit here and wait for all that cobblestone to compress down multiple times so that I can set that up. So what we're going to do is we are going to set up in the nether. The nether has two layers of bedrock. There's the bedrock down the bottom, and then it has bedrock on the top also, because I believe the top only goes halfway up the height that normal dimensions can go. Now there are exploits to get above that top layer of bedrock, and you can set up stuff up there, and there's nothing above it, so it's really nice for making mob farms and stuff, because mobs will only spawn in the stuff that you put down. They won't spawn on bedrock. The other thing is setting up things like this is nice up there, because you've got this big layer of flat bedrock. But we will be going down because we've already cleared that area out, and I will set up down on the bottom, because with the vein mining pickaxes it's been quite trivial to clear out that area, whereas if you're playing without vein miner, you would have to dig all the way down, hope you don't hit any lava, and yeah, quite a mission. Whereas digging up and then using an exploit to pop through the top bedrock layer is a lot easier. Anyway, so we're going to go down. Because we're building in the nether, and the nether gets unloaded every time you leave it, we need a way of making sure our farm is always going. Now, in Minecraft, the world is split into chunks. Now, a chunk is a 16 by 16 block area, and what we can do is create this chunk loader, which is a block that you put inside a chunk, and it makes sure that Minecraft doesn't unload that chunk. So normally Minecraft will load a certain amount of chunks around you. I believe it's like 12 or 16. I don't know if it depends on the view distance, because you can set your view distance all the way up to 32 chunks, which is a ridiculous distance. I don't think it loads everything in those chunks. So for example, these cows, you know, they're walking around, jumping, doing stuff. If I walk far enough away, they'll just stop doing things. Minecraft will unload them. It'll still show me this area because it's within my view distance, but it's stopped processing any of the stuff that's actually in here. Yeah, so we need a way to tell Minecraft never unload this chunk. It's always doing stuff. It's always should be loaded in memory and being processed. So there's a mod called Chicken Chunks, which gives you a chunk loader, and we'll be using that to make sure that our stuff in the nether always works. Now, there's very specific conditions for growing capacitor seeds. Like I said, it has to be on bedrock or bedrock has to be under the soil, and the soil is actually capacitor banks. The other thing is it needs a high light level but no sky. I believe the recipe, yeah. So we can actually show you a picture of what you might need it to look like. Yeah, there's very specific conditions. Needs quite a high light level, 13 or higher. 15 is the highest light level, and I believe normally it's like 6, so 13 is over double the normal, and it can't have access to sky, so you can't see to the top of the world. You need to cover it, which I believe is already there within the nether. I think we're fine with that. We don't need to cover it. The one thing we need to do is to create the light that I've gotten. The other thing is it needs to be surrounded by dark iron bars. Dark iron bars, whoops. The problem is my R key is bound to two different things. So R sorts my inventory and R shows me the recipe for that item. So sometimes when I push R, it sorts my inventory first and then shows me the recipe. So that's why it's sort of flux and fused hammer. So dark iron bars, dark steel to create dark iron bars, and dark steel is created in the alloy smelter, which you can see here, which is iron, coal powder, and obsidian. Makes one thing of dark steel. So that's a perfect example of what the alloy smelter is used for. Right, so one thing we need that I haven't done, and hopefully, I believe I've looked up the recipe before and it's not too thing, is powered lights. Right, so I need some fused quartz and some silicon. Oh, do I have silicon? Let's just quickly check. And I got one piece of silicon there. I'll take those. So the easiest way to get silicon is by putting sand through the sag mill. One of the things I haven't mentioned is I've got a alloy smelter and a sag mill set up here. What's that, flint? So this takes flint. The other thing it can take is a dark steel ball, and basically it increases the effectiveness of the sag mill. Yeah, so I've set those up temporarily there because I can just place them here and they automatically connect into the power line. We'll certainly be setting up an area for all that sort of stuff. Silicon, no. So what I can do is, it's got 5 sand in it. So this is getting sand, because that's, if you remember, that's taking cobble, turning it into gravel, that's taking gravel, turning it into sand. So the sand gets fed into here, gets turned into dust. So you can see you've got a bit of a backlog. I don't know if that's a proper backlog. See, I wonder if that sand in there was stopping it from... No, I don't. So it's the only one that's got stuff in it. I might keep an eye on that. Certainly I want to speed this whole thing up, so you got to keep an eye on the ratios, right? Because if you speed just one thing up, then it'll just be bottlenecked by another thing. Gas. So how much? That's probably enough. Now the other thing we needed was this conductive iron. No, cobblestone, yeah. I believe one light will do for now, and that requires used quartz. Now, glowstone. You can see how when I go to this crafting station, it's got a chest next to it. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but one of the features of the mod that gives me this crafting bench is that if you put a inventory next to it, it will show up on the crafting station. So you could put a bunch of stuff there that you want to craft with, and it will show up here so that you, can easily access it without having to open up all that stuff. The other thing we're going to need is a source of power. Now, let's fill these up for now. But what I'm going to do, I think, is either you can create lava generators, which consume lava to create energy, and what I can do is set up another cobble gen there that feeds into a crucible with a yellorium block underneath it, which turns it into lava, which can then feed into the lava generators. I believe one crucible can probably feed multiple lava generators. And then, so if we put that there. Why is that only 2,000? Let's try putting that down again. Don't know why they're filling up so slowly. I think a few. So we've got heaps of RF going through. Ah, I know what it'll be. Output. Never active. So what it's doing is it's pulling in power, but then it's also draining the power because these are capacitors, right? These are batteries. So when the request for power comes through these pipes, it's going, yeah, I've got some power to give you. Now that should give me a full. Never actually used these before. Right, we should have 3 full capacitor banks. So yeah, so I do need to set up some power generation, but I think for the initial setup I can just pull power directly out of these capacitor banks, but that will not work for long, and I won't actually plant the seeds on there just in case it runs out of power and then the seeds actually die and I lose them. So, oh, what is it? There are ways of stopping spawning. You put down like half slabs or carpet or something, and then they can't spawn on those items. I always like to do a cursory look for enemies. I don't want to be surprised. So that's the crazy explosion area. That really took out a lot of. So if you imagine, the radius is probably about to here. And exploded over there. There's no way I could outrun. Let's set it up over here by this emerald. And this little bit. So if we set those up. Okay, I don't know where the... Okay, now, should be able to go back here. Whoops. That's something stopping those quartz. That up. So, water source. And that, you should be able to see that filling up. And set up irrigation channels. Now I might have set this up a bit too close. That 2 blocks away. Yeah. Is that lightning or something? That looks better. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now what I'll do eventually is I might set up another row each side, or maybe just one more row to increase capacity, because the octadic capacitors, I believe they're like a 1 in 10,000 chance that when you harvest the plant it will have octadic capacitors. So I certainly want to help that along as much as I can. On the right place, damn it. Now each block needs 6 dark iron bars touching it, so this layout gives me that. Oh, I've got to bring crop sticks. Anyway, I need the light. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. And a block. Let's use some wood. Type this one. Actually, let's put the energy cable there, and then should still give it plenty of room. I was going to remove the wood. That, if we drop that down, that should still be, yeah. And then what we'll do is we'll have the power generation on the other side. Now, powered light and out, always active. Always active. Why is it not doing that? Yeah. Oh, it's just a conduit connector. If we look, light level 10, there we go, it just turned on. Light level 14, 15, 14. But these capacitors, so 749,000 out of, let's turn that off. And if I grab some crop seeds, so that the light anyway is not using that much power at all. So try it out and see if we can grow a capacitor seed. And then yeah, I'll come down and set up some kind of generation. I don't know how much power it needs. Creating those thermoelectric power things was very annoying. It's there should be some different ways of generating power, especially because I'm further through the mod pack. Should be some easier ways than building a whole bunch of these things again. They had require like all sorts of copper coils and things. So, was not enjoying immersive engineering the amount of crafting that's needed to do those things. Right, crop sticks. Take that. Take that. Okay. I believe I have a bunch of sticks around here and I can turn into crop sticks. Means you do so many things in this game that you always remember stuff. I remember having a whole bunch of sticks here, but I've probably already used them. I just don't remember the using. But we do actually get sticks from the mob system. Though I believe it's a witch drop. And if it's a witch drop, we will not have very much of it. Because witches are pretty rare. And they have a huge pool of things that they drop. Oh, okay, there's enchanted golden boots have shown up there. These have all got 888 all full up. Right, sticks. Yeah. 82 sticks. There we go, 46 crop sticks for the moment. Those capacitor banks aren't cheap to craft either. So they require like 4 capacitors each. So yeah, I'm basically down to 0 redstone now because of this. So I'm hoping this works out. The next thing is definitely setting up the automatic The big spider. Yes, setting up the automatic farming of the gold and the redstone and stuff. Actually, they're probably far enough away they won't bother me. What I do? Put that down. There's nothing. This plant is fertile and can grow. Awesome. And then we set up 2 crop sticks there. This plant cannot grow here because this is. If we put that always active. Well, luckily it doesn't pop out or die or anything. Jeez, it takes a long time to turn on. There we go, it's turned on. Man, it takes a long time for that power to get up there. Growth stage, 57% already. Ooh. Oh wow, already done. That's cool. Now it should spread. I should bring some stairs. I want to, because when you jump onto plants, you know, you can destroy them. So I want to make sure I'm not actually trying to jump onto that platform. Now hopefully that will start spreading and we can set up our other thing. Now, I believe F3G, does this work in this? No. No. In later versions, F3G shows you the chunk areas, but if you see the grid on the minimap, that's actually the chunk borders. So as you can see, I'm right on the chunk border. So if we put this just over here, and we'll set it to a radius of 1 chunk, show lasers, let's go away, and we want to show square. So this will show us how much it's loaded. Yeah. Okay, we have to load more than 1. So that loads considerably more, but because I put this in a stupid place. This is not spreading. Maybe it just takes a while. But anyway, we'll hide the lasers now. Hopefully loading 9 chunks instead of 1 chunk isn't going to put some kind of crazy load on the system. Well, certainly no, because walking around the base will just be laggy. I just wanted to set up a couple of drawers here, just for general storage for stuff. Even spread. This plant cannot grow here. Don't tell me we've used all the power. No, why does this keep turning off? In and out, always active. Always active. Figure IO. This is output. Always active. I might have to look that up later, see what I'm doing wrong. It's only light level 9. Stand powered light keeps turning off. I wonder if it needs a redstone signal. Can make some sticks, but you can't make. Actually, I got heaps of cobble around. I need to find a piece of cobble. I'll leave that up there to remind me of what happened. So you can see how kind of flat the ceiling looks here. You can see how crazy exploded that area looks. Right. Cobblestone and stick the other way around makes a lever. Lever. That's way too far away from me, isn't it? Anyway, I'll figure it out off camera. I'm sure it's something trivial like that, and I'll set up some power generation, and then I will need to set up some way of harvesting them, which we do have access to the MFR from Zeta, is it? Yeah. Which has the harvest, which is the harvester, which I believe that's what I'll be using, but it requires a Z logic controller, which oh no, that's not too bad. It's on the head in the slice and splice. So slice and splice is another Ender IO machine that we need to make, and then that's what you use to create Z logic controllers and some other things where you, I believe all the recipes require different mob heads. See, stuff like this is going to make this really, really hard. Okay, I didn't know those guys exploded on death, so remember that. This is just bugging me now. I want to see it spread. Oh well. Right, yeah, those guys explode, so I need to remember to not kill them near my they spawn. Again, what I might, or what I definitely want to do is I'll get a whole bunch of cobble down here, cover all this up, put a whole bunch of carpet and stuff down and try and make it mob proof, and then have it all closed in with a door. Either a door, but probably put an elevator in, because then there's no way of mobs actually following you through. And so then what you do is you'd come here, you'd have stairs to get up on top of the roof, and then the roof will have an elevator, go through the elevator down into here. Right, yeah, I believe that's it for now. I'll get this all completely up and running. In the meantime, if I do require the harvester or some other thing, I'll probably be going a lot more through the delta. So just so that you know, there's a slice and splice there. I believe this is, so it's a soul binder. So the soul binder is the one that makes a lot of the soul vial things, and then with those soul vials, that uses the soul vials, and with those soul vials we can then create some of these other crystals, like the ender crystal, which requires an enderman and a soul vial. That's actually the soul binder. So yeah, so these might all be done. I believe that's just, yeah, Franken Zombie, Z-Logic Controller, Zombie Electrode. So these are all the different types of soul-powered electronics that Ender.io has. Once we've got that all set up, then I'll probably make the jetpack. I believe I can rip straight through most of these then. They just require like vibrant alloy and stuff, which isn't cheap. Yeah, octadic capacitor, but you know, shouldn't be too hard to get through. And I'll have to look it up, but I assume it certainly upgrades like speed and flying time, fuel efficiency and stuff. I believe they take fuel, or maybe it's just a certain amount of time you can fly it at once. Yeah, so I'll try and push through with that, and still have to do all those, but yeah, certainly try and get that harvester set up now, and these capacitors. So a lot of that might be prepared before next episode. I'll do a lot of work, especially to set up the harvester. I need a big area for all the plants and things, so I'll be doing a lot of building with that. That's probably going to take a bit of time, so it might be a little while. But yeah, we'll leave it there for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, even though I didn't die this time. So I'm putting the chance cubes on hold for a while. I can't. I believe I previously said that my original intent was to do them until I died. So I died. So I'll put them off for now. I don't believe I'll do them again, not for quite a while, not until I've tackled some of the bosses that I am probably going to need some of these lives for. So I don't want to waste all my lives on chance cubes and not actually get anything out of it, because for the moment, the only thing I've got out of chance cubes really is entertainment. So yeah, we'll leave it there, and I'll see you next time.